Hey everybody, welcome back to the Balcony Time Podcast. My name is Andy, and I need you to put it back.
Hi, I'm Josh, and my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
My name's Andrew, and one time a woman put her finger in my butt.
And I'm Nick, and I miss one hashtag. I can't do it.
Just do it!
Do it. I miss one hashtags called Octothorpes.
So I don't know if it's like a health thing or if it's like just getting older. But occasionally when you have to shit, is there a supreme urgency with that nowadays for you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get like that supreme shit?
I don't know about just necessarily nowadays. I think I've always had,
You've always had that?
not
Where it's
all,
like,
not
I
every
gotta
time.
shit right now.
Yeah, that doesn't happen every time. Otherwise, I'd always be running. But yeah, I mean, sometimes.
I
Yeah.
had an embarrassing moment last week. I was walking home in the middle of the night after some drinking, and I had to take a public shit for the second time in my life.
Ooh.
When you say public shit, could you expand on that, please?
It was, I want to say, probably about midnight. I was walking along Crater Lake Avenue, and
So this is like busy residential, not necessarily downtown.
but it's quiet, right?
yeah.
It's the middle of the night. It is a main avenue, but there's plenty of side streets, and it hits me. I got to shit, and I'm probably about, I don't know, 10 minutes away from home, and I've been walking for like 20 minutes already, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, dude. You've been walking 20 minutes, you can make it another 10, right? And at this point, I'm like clenching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, it hurts. And I'm looking down every side street trying to see, where could I do this if I need to do this? Where could I do this if I need to do this? And finally, I run out of options, and I'm going to go, like, right now. And it sucks because I'm so close to home. I'm, like, literally 3 blocks away.
Yeah.
But I just can't fucking make it. Like, I know I'm not even going to have enough time to unlock the door before this shit starts coming out. So, I fucking found a quiet little bush. I squatted and I prayed that nobody came by at that time. Like I had this image of like somebody walking their dog in the middle of the night as I'm shitting. I'm like, your dog's gonna do it too.
Yeah, it's just fair.
right.
Yeah.
So I let out this steamer, really weird. Avoided my balls, all the shit on my balls, and like I couldn't wipe right there.
Yeah.
So I just fucking pulled up, went home, straight to the shower.
Oh, man. So you got a little bit of mud butt.
I got a
Where
little
I'm
bit
from,
of
they
my
call
butt.
that right and dirty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a little dirty.
I don't know, Andrew, if you've heard, but within the last couple of years, if anyone listening knows what this is, please tell me. Before I have to poop, usually about 5 minutes to a minute before I feel the urge, my left index finger gets super sensitive.
That's strange.
It almost tingles. It's not quite pain, but I can feel from the tip of my finger running into my palm a very strong sensitivity. And it happens a few minutes before I feel the urge in my gut to poop.
So you got like a poopy sense.
Yes, I have this really shitty superpower.
That is a shitty superpower.
I have no idea. It was a couple of years ago. I couldn't tell you exactly when it started, but it's alarming.
I was going to say, because I've known you for almost 30 years.
I
and
brought this up
never
when
knew
it
this.
first started happening. I haven't brought it up again because
Okay.
it's like, okay, I just have a superpower now. But it is handy. It doesn't always happen, but I'd say like 8-9 times out of 10 it does. It's very
Interesting.
weird. It's also come to my attention that some of y'all wipe really weird, and I think we're going to have that conversation.
I think we have to have that conversation.
What do you mean really weird?
I believe it's called an intervention, actually.
We all love
Whose
you.
intervention is it, though?
It depends on which of you are willing to admit you wipe weirdly. So,
I'll admit it right away. So let's get this like right on the table.
okay.
I wipe what people would say I'm a stander. I wipe standing up.
Okay.
Now the-
Explain in
Now
Detail
before I do, how do the rest of you wipe? Josh.
Well, I feel like I kind of wipe like some sort of caveman, half squatted, fearsome digging around. Like, okay, it sounds really bad, but I mean, I get in there. It's a half squat kind of a thing. I'm still like on the toilet, but my butt's up off the toilet. And
so you are
and
you're still making contact with the toilet.
yeah, I would say like the behind
Behind the
part,
knees?
Yeah, is just
Okay.
there, but my butt's completely lifted.
Yeah.
For those of you just listening, you can't see it, but I am making the motions of.
Yeah, he is wiping his ass right now.
Looks like
graphic.
It looks like he's humping the air.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
It kind of does.
Andrew.
Well, when I poop in bushes, I don't wipe.
Well, that's
But normally,
environmental.
Normally, I lift the right cheek up as I'm seated down.
Yeah.
And I wipe. And unfortunately, my toilet seat's a little broken, so like when I do that, it shifts.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Mine
It'll
does-
catch my leg hair in between the seat and the
Oof,
fucking
yeah.
toilet every once in a while.
Mhm.
And I've tried using my other hand, but I can't do it. Like I'm
No,
not coordinated enough.
you can only wipe with one hand. There's no such thing as wiping ambidextrous.
So yeah, I'm a sitter, right side sitter.
Okay.
Now, I made this sound like I have the perfect standard way of wiping, but I don't think I do. Little detail graphic. Sometimes you got a lot of hair down there.
Sure.
I always
And-
have a lot of hair down there.
Yes, and I have learned to kind of adjust myself so I'm a little spread when I'm shitting to
Yeah.
minimize post-shit cleanup.
Well,
You look
yeah, you don't.
quizzical.
Yeah,
And
I get it. I get it.
Here's where the standing baffles me, because if I were to in any way lift my cheeks, then you're getting peanut
Wait,
butter
are you
between
going in between?
cheeks.
Like,
I am.
Whoa,
like
from the
hiking
front?
yeah, like
lift
hiking a
up-
football?
I
Like
lift up my junk with my right hand. I wipe back to front to back
you've blown Andrew's
Yes.
mind. Like he almost lost
because
his
I have to
headphones.
keep that stuff spread.
When
I
you
just-
said sitter, that's not what I thought.
No, I meant like I stay sitting the whole time because I've gone to all this trouble to spread myself.
I've never even thought of
Apart.
wiping my ass like that.
You just have to. You can lift up your business however you want, and
Front
you
to
reach
back,
down
so
there.
you're pushing it like a bulldozer.
I usually only have to touch the kind of
I go
exit
front to
zone.
back.
There's not like
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
long.
but you're
swipe.
pulling.
Yes, I am pulling.
Nick has to push.
Yeah, I do a little pulling too towards the end. But
Okay.
the thing is there's so little surface area I have to touch
Yeah.
because by being spread, it's
Right.
not all over.
Yeah.
So it's just that one little thermal exhaust port. Right?
Yeah, you haven't muddied. You don't have
Yeah.
muddy cheeks.
And usually,
Wiping your ass sounds like a hairdo from the 80s. There's teasing, there's blow drying, you gotta pull it. I just that seems like a lot
this
of effort
is something
to wipe
I
your
can't
ass.
wait for Colin to be on because we discussed this length. We have
Yeah.
rituals,
Sure.
like the way you fold the toilet paper, the number of squares depending on.
I have no rituals. My
No.
rituals
No.
get it done as quick as fucking possible.
Yeah,
Mine's get it done as comfortably as
I
possible.
like to enjoy my poops.
So do I.
I had an amazing poop the other day. It was one you notice it. You get done and you're like,
I didn't
"Oh,
notice it,
man."
but go on.
Well, you should have. It was
You
Taking
didn't feel
notes.
that through the force like I did?
palpable.
You
A
didn't see
warm
it on his
summer
Instagram or
breeze.
anything?
Right?
So I just want to clear a misconception when I say standing, right? Like,
Okay.
I don't go upright. Like I'm not planking.
So you're
You
not
bend over.
peanut butter between pancakes.
I am still fully like I do some good cheek spread during poop. Right?
So now, are you just like applying pressure to your legs and standing up, and you're still like your head's leaning forward?
yes.
Okay.
So I go from sitting position to now forward more. right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm still. It's as if I am still. I am still in the same form that pooping takes place
Yes.
in, but I bring that
Just
forward.
Leaning Tower of Andy.
Yeah. So it's like the extreme of Josh, right?
Mhm.
I don't make contact with the toilet seat anymore. I'm still in full squatting pooping position, but I've removed myself from the toilet.
Yeah.
And I think, as far as I understand, because this is an argument that a lot of people have had, especially I think recently, I don't know, it's
Crops up every once in a while.
yeah. I think the misconception is that standers are fucking, they stand up,
Yes.
cheeks clenched, just.
I no longer have a problem with standers. If anyone's going to have a poo intervention,
It's
Nick.
this guy
It's
over
Nick.
here.
yeah.
Yeah. Tell you, man.
You're the weird one.
Yeah.
Apparently I am.
I will say I don't know when I made the transition, but like it was a revelation when I realized that I could stay seated while I wipe my ass. Because I used to do this number, like
Stand up. Oh, okay. You
like
can't
one of those things.
hear
Sure.
that position he stood
No,
in.
so
but-
it was definitely a standard thing with like the ass pushed out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then-
So your cheeks are still spread, right?
I feel
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
a position where someone used to wipe your ass for you, and you're still
Could be.
like just freshly
Really
taking
young.
over that
Yeah.
that position.
That's
you know?
something to bring up.
Yeah.
You always wonder, why do people wipe in such weird ways compared to me? But we learned to wipe by our parents, right?
Yeah.
They're supposed to teach you that. So it's
Not
just-
me. My daddy pushed me out the door with a roll of toilet paper into the yard and
Figure
said,
it out.
"Figure it out."
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess we know our. Well, I mean, are there any other bath time rituals? Not bath time, bathroom time rituals.
I like to take my pants fully off when
Okay.
I go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I
Only
get
at home though. At work, I work out in the woods and such, and only porta potties. So I refuse to take my pants off in a porta potty.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm at
Fully.
home, I'm often as naked as possible to begin
Yeah.
with. So oftentimes I'm using the bathroom
Yeah.
without pants on, just by default.
I'm in the same way. If I don't have to wear pants, I prefer not to. But I usually don't remove my pants before I take a dump, unless I'm at home and it's like the pants are probably off anyways, or they need to come off.
I'm in a place with toilet paper. Most bathrooms, I will take the time to use toilet paper to clean up my dribbles out the front.
Well, yeah.
Right, not just shake it.
Yeah.
And then
Wait, are you dabbing? Are you like?
I'm kind of like toothpasting, toothpaste tube squeezing,
Ah, okay.
and
Well-
into toilet paper, just like a couple squares,
Okay.
just to make sure there's nothing in there.
All right. Just empty the chamber.
Any
Yeah.
more than 3, and that's really playing with yourself there, right?
It's the same as you only shake it a little bit. I'll shake it the bathroom at the
Shake
restaurant
it
or something,
off.
but yeah.
I don't. I've dabbed a couple times in my day, but I don't think that's.
Like dab the pee-pee.
I just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't like it dripping.
I will dab my pee-pee.
Yeah,
I don't like the drip anymore.
I will. Well, most of the time I'm not going to get any additional drip. At least like not that I can feel. Like obviously there's stuff you can't help. Like there's going to be a little pee.
yeah.
It's your dick.
There's gonna be a little.
There's
pee.
going to be a little pee. But I think it's just I think it's a pre-coitus thing where it's like, well,
Oh well, yeah. That's
Oh,
a different
got to
scenario.
dab. Yeah, I mean you want to be as clean as possible down there, right?
Always.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, it's interesting that people have different methods to poop.
I think
Yeah.
Nick has the
Or to
most
wipe, I
interesting
suppose.
method to poop. Like I can't get
Yeah.
over the visual.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry to keep
let's
bringing that back to
since
that.
we're talking about it, I'm a left-handed person. Well, I'm a bit ambidextrous, so I actually wind up. This is great. Using my right hand to poop, which I didn't.
Instead of your butt.
We know what you meant. but-
Using my right hand to wipe rather than
There
poop.
you go.
I poop from my right hand.
That'd be fucking
just
Ugh.
yeah, right. Ugh. Be a sticky
Again,
situation.
glad I don't have taste buds. On my
Yeah,
fingers.
right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Which is the hand I shake other people's hands with. Is my right hand.
Mm.
I also eat with my left hand, so it feels I don't want to wipe my ass with the same hand I eat with.
It is common in other countries that you always wipe with the left because the right
the
is what you eat
unclean
with, right?
hand.
Yeah, it's the unclean hand.
Well, I eat with my left, so I feel like I'm still doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Correct
More
way.
often. No, not even. Just
Pun
Do you ever
intended.
see the roll of toilet paper on your left side? Yes, now that I think about it, you do. Yeah, I thought about it more than
You'll
I
see it more
originally
often
did,
in
yeah.
houses where it doesn't really have a standard.
Yeah, one of the bathrooms here, it's on the left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that the more I think about it, I see him on the left
Yeah,
side
yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
I did have to think about that. Although, it's 2019, you can decide where your toilet paper is going to go.
Other things about bathrooms, I think bath mats are some of the most sordid, disgusting
They're
things
filthy.
you could ever have.
100%.
You wash them once a week. It's nice to
Here's
have
the
'em.
thing. Once a week, that's what I hear. So that means you go all week with damp cloth material next to where you shit and piss that's covered in hot, steamy water that gets to roil and grow and just... why would you want to stand on that with your freshly clean feet? Right?
So I get
ugh.
your argument, and I feel the same. However, I am realizing that that's hypocritical of me because I will use the same bath towel for days.
See, if I have the option, I use a fresh bath towel every time.
I don't.
That's more of just a preference. I know it's a bit much, but yeah.
Now, I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I take my bath towel out of the bathroom with me and hang it from like my closet door
Well, you got a
or a
roommate
hook or
too,
something.
though.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
motherfucker will take my towel if I leave it in
Right.
there.
Bastard.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
I've got my own bathroom, so everybody fucks off.
Well, I feel
Yeah,
like he actually just
Yeah.
he doesn't use the towel I've used like on himself. He will just
Sure.
throw it on the ground and stand on it and be like, hey, motherfucker, I had
Oh, yeah.
another use out of that. I had one more use out of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not opposed to using one a couple times, but like when I'm at home, I tend to I dry off completely. My skin will get super itchy if I let myself air dry.
Mm-hmm.
So I stand in the shower and dry off down to about my calves, and then I step out onto the edge of the towel and use it to dry off the rest of my feet and legs, and then that'll usually go straight into the hamper before it goes in the wash.
Yeah.
So another reason why I only use towels tend to be once is because I'm standing on them,
Right.
so they're touching the bathroom floor, and I know it's not that unhealthy. It's just the image of that. Ew.
At least it's there is another argument there. You're probably going to step on that pre-cleaning as well.
Step on
the bath mat.
I step over them.
You step up. Well, I mean, not you in particular, but I think most people, when they're drawing their water or whatever they're doing.
Oh, so they're standing on it with their quote unquote dirty feet.
Right, the ones that haven't been showered since the day before, probably.
Yeah. See, I don't I dry off in the shower, and then I'll step onto the bath mat.
But before you get in the shower,
do you ever accidentally step on the bath mat?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure I do on the way in. Yeah, but I'm dry at that point.
Right. We're hardy. We have an immune system for a reason.
Yeah, that's why I don't worry too much about it.
If anything, the bath mat helps it.
Maybe it does.
Little black mold never. Right?
Maybe. I've always wondered: is there more than one strain of black mold?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say anything you can think of has multiple varietals or.
But is all black
strains.
mold bad for you?
There's very few molds that are good for you.
Sure. Point taken.
Yeah.
Point taken.
Then again, we have like penicillin and whatnot.
Yeah,
but that's a whole
exactly.
other
I mean,
thing.
there are some useful fucking molds.
Most molds you don't want to breathe. Let's put it that way.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair. I mean, any mold growing in your house, not good mold.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it's going to eat at your drywall.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So guys, right. I know, like we've talked about it week after week, but I finally watched Endgame. So
congratulations.
Finally. Thank you. Infinity War was better.
Yeah, I think.
I'm just throwing that out.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I cried during Infinity War. Now,
I Love You 3000. How does that
I mean, that made me not weepy. It made me pre-weepy.
Preepy?
It made me preepy.
I don't like that word. I love that word. I do not like it, Sam. I am.
So Endgame made me preepy. I can't.
You gotta keep using
I can't do it. I can't do it.
No.
Infinity War made me actually like tear the fuck up. I mean, rolling down the cheek.
Okay.
There was no like. There's none of that because
did you cry at the snap or when Thanos just like totally chunks Vision's head?
Mr. Stark, you know, like it's just what? Come on,
Tom Holland. Like I know Tom Holland's never gonna listen to this, probably, but I'm giving him a huge shout out. I love that guy. He is just the best.
He needs your shout out because you know
who is that?
He needs some exposure.
You don't know who Tom Holland is?
I don't know.
I'm offended.
Yeah.
He doesn't watch comic book movies.
Not a lot of them. I watch some of them.
Have you watched the new animated SpiderMan?
No.
You should. It's
Enter the Spider-Verse.
Amazing movie.
Was masterfully done.
It's one of the best animated movies.
Spider-Man is my favorite superhero.
Oh well, then well, I don't know if that means they'll love this one more or less, but yeah, it's fucking phenomenal.
Okay.
I can't say anything negative about that movie. It was great. It was as perfect a movie as you can get.
I don't know.
We can also chalk it up to Nick Cage finally having another good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Cage is in it?
His voice is.
All right.
Yeah.
He's a voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's animated.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's hard to say with nostalgia glasses. I remember the first Spider-Man movie being like, wow.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was cool.
Except for that one, this Into the Spider-Verse is, to me, like clearly the best Spider-Man movie that's come out.
I have a hard time. I think I'm in agreement with you, but my heart tells me like no. Tom Holland movies are.
I've also seen the very first two Spider-Man movies.
Oh, so which Spider-Man is he then?
So Spider-Man is Tom Holland is the current Spider-Man. The one he's in Civil War, Endgame, and Infinity War. He also has
his
young
own
kid
Spider-Man movies.
I saw Infinity War, so he was the Spider-Man in Infinity War.
He's the Spider-Man in Infinity
War.
War.
Okay.
Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home. Now.
Yeah, I didn't see any of those.
I haven't seen Far From Home. I did see Homecoming. That was the best Spider-Man movie I'd ever seen until I watched Enter the Spider-Verse, and that is a contender.
Okay. Far From Home was a lot of fun to watch.
I haven't seen it yet. As you guys know, I just don't care for the theater experience, so I wait.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so Far From Home, even though Endgame has Endgame right in the title, Far From Home is actually the wrap-up for the Infinity series.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So, I mean, there's more.
Yeah, they
Avengers.
There's more Avengers. They cover the blip coming back, and I mean, Gyllenhaal, gotta love him too.
I forgot he's in it.
Yeah, he does an excellent Mysterio. It's so good. Everything ties together really well. I had nothing bad to say about it.
Cool. I'll have to go see it. Besides Into the Spider-Verse just being good, on the animated level, I mean, besides like Hayao Miyazaki films, I don't think I've seen an animated movie where it was obvious how much love, blood, sweat, and tears they put into the animation for that. It is just visually mind-blowing.
It did
and
take me
deep.
probably 10, 15 minutes to get into the art. I love the art style.
It hit me like a truck right away.
What was a little bit off-putting to me is for the first few minutes, I'm like, am I supposed to be wearing 3D glasses? Is this a 3D movie? Because it's weird but they do some like shifting, like the outlines of characters are a little bit off their profile and stuff like that
At times, yeah.
Well, and that's just comic book style, right? But it's a motion picture,
Very
so
kind of pop arty.
yeah. It was just a little bit weird at first. It did throw me off because I was expecting, I don't know, something else.
One good example, I might not have this verbatim, but when you're animating something, you animate on 1s or 2s or 3s, which means every number of frames you have a new animation.
Yeah.
And I remember my brother telling me that when the new Spider-Man in that movie was learning and training and still getting used to things, he was animated on 2s, while the other Spider-Man who had this down old hat was animated on 1s. And so you're watching this, and there's this unconscious, like, visual feeling that the new Spider-Man is clunky and whatnot, and there's actually a visual explanation for that.
Yeah,
that they work with throughout the movie.
The whole thing was definitely a labor of love.
Yeah.
Like
That's a lot of attention to detail.
Oh,
man.
hugely, yeah. If you watch the end credits, you can tell how much these animators and creators love Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah, it really. I can't give that movie enough credit. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but I loved. I totally was surprised by the ending. Don't want to spoil too much, but I was surprised by the ending. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Because there's that lovely villain reveal at the end. So
Is
I
it
love
Spider-Man looking in a mirror or something?
No, it's
Okay.
nothing.
It
was
me
the
whole time.
I said I liked it, not that it was bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then I liked all the other Spider Pig. How great is that?
It was pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah.
It was pretty good.
And it's got that.
I think it was an underutilized character.
You gotta be careful how
Like
much
the
you
one
use.
from The Simpsons was in that movie? That Spider Pig?
No,
So-
actual Spider Pig.
The general idea, I'm not giving away too much, is that there's a Spider-Man in every universe.
Okay.
And in this movie, Into the Spider-Verse, there's
a pig
multiple
land.
Spider-Man. Well, there's a Warner Brothers cartoon land.
Oh.
And the Spider-Man from that one is a pig, kind of like Porky Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, different personality. But
Wait, so it's like Looney Tunes style?
like he literally
Yeah.
is two.
It's like a
he's
Looney
like-
Tunes style
he's-
Spider-Man?
He's fighting
This
three.
This
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
Because it's like sketches, right?
every
No.
Spider-Man in this film has a different animation style, and it's
Because
all,
they represent different universes.
Yes, but
Okay.
they are all
Absolutely.
in the same. At this point, they were all in the same universe.
Got
So
it.
you've
Yeah.
got a Sin City one, you've got the animated one, you have
Spider
an
Noir.
anime one with a giant spider robot.
That sounds fun.
Oh, it's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Dude.
All right, I'm
great.
gonna have to check
It's
that
like
out.
Diva, but with a spider bot.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Are you still playing Overwatch?
I am still playing a lot of Overwatch. I feel like sometimes it's the only game I like these days.
I get you, man. I'm not playing as many games as I was. I did enjoy the new content update. I mean, it's not super new. It came out in like June or the end of June or something like that. For Risk of Rain 2, phenomenal game.
Oh yeah, we need to try that. Oh yeah, the new characters out. Yeah, we
Yes.
unlocked them, but we haven't played them that much yet.
I played them a little bit. Not super into it, but I still have a blast in that game.
How's Overwatch doing, Josh? Haven't played it. In a while.
Well, they keep trying to find balance, and so rather than like doing some honest like reworks on some characters, they just keep on bringing in. They just keep on bringing in new characters and new characters every 2 months. It feels like there's a new character, and they just keep
Tweaking stuff.
tweaking stuff, nerfing, and then upping. But they're not fixing the right characters, in my opinion. Reaper is he's a murderer now. Like, I know his name's Reaper, and it's kind of self-evident.
it was just manslaughter before. Now,
But
it's
like, no,
murder.
he'll just run down the hallway, and he's just gunning people down, and he self-heals now as he's gunning people down. So
Fun.
he does the most damage up close, so you have to be close to like really utilize him.
Sure.
But 50% of the damage he does comes right back in on his health.
Fucking lot.
That is a
It's
lot.
it's
Lot
out it's
of lifesteal.
outrageous. It's outrageous. He's a tank killer, and
Well,
no,
he sounds like a tank.
And no, you cannot face him down in single combat. Like, that is the character that scares me the most.
I imagine you
now.
could, as long as you had distance, but close quarters.
There's not. Well, even
He closes
Well,
gaps
he does.
nicely.
He has a
I
pretty
was going
good
to say
gap
with
closing.
his wraith ability is
Yeah.
faster now, and
Yeah.
it's not a solid 8 seconds where you're stuck in it. So
Right.
he'll like wraith zip around you really fast, come out of it,
You can drop
and then
out of it at
drop
will
out of
now.
it in an instant, and then just start unloading.
Is the dropping out of Wraith triggered by a shot?
Nope,
Oh, okay.
self-triggered.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fun.
that's a little rough.
They're probably introducing new characters as opposed to reworking their kits because it probably, if I had to guess, brings in more players or adds player retention.
Yeah, I mean, it is the equivalent of new content.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't think Blizzard has Fortnite resources. You know,
Well, no one's got Fortnite resources, but
very true.
Fortnite.
I don't play a lot of Fortnite. That's the
played
one
it
where you have to
once.
build too, right? Is
Yeah.
that the build? Oh, I tried playing
It's
that.
not the
and-
building one with zombies, the green zombies. It's a building one with 14-year-olds. That's great.
Yeah.
But it's the battle royale style, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird that became a genre. You remember reading?
I think it's
or
a
we
cool
we
idea.
watched
Yeah.
the original battle royale movie, the Japanese one, back when
Oh,
we were
yeah.
teenagers.
I tried to read that book too, but didn't
Yeah.
make
The
it
book
through.
was I couldn't read. It was too depressing. The bad. The
Was it
movie
the
was just
Cube?
kind of funny.
What,
No,
what
this
was
is where all the
You don't remember this?
the
Battle Royale.
Japanese high schoolers were so out of control that they made this island and they sanctioned that the high schoolers had to go fight to the death until
Okay.
one of them was
Okay.
left.
Wasn't that they were out of control? Or was it just like a lottery pick system? Like if you're
Yeah.
in like the last year, there's like this lottery
thought
pick, and some of
no.
the kids go.
I thought it was just all the like shittiest students because they had like the weird.
I felt like it was more random. than
Pyromaniac.
that.
So this actually reminds me of something
think
pretty
you might be
current,
right,
pretty
Andrew.
relevant. I know we like to try and stay apolitical, but Universal recently, in the recent mass shootings, pulled a movie called The Hunt, where it was satirical. But the primary idea of it was that rich elites hunted deplorables for fun.
Yeah, so another.
So a similar premise.
What's the other one? Where one night a year you can go
Oh,
out.
the
and-
culling or
Yeah,
the
the
purge.
purge. This is. I mean, this has always been a premise. There was battle royale. I'm pretty sure battle royale was a herd thinning scenario as well. Like Japan.
I
was
think
too
you guys are
overly
right. Now that I
populated.
think about it,
I think it was like it was like 15 kids, right? It was like just like this sport for people to
Yeah.
watch. From what I'm remembering of the story, it didn't make much sense as to why they were in this situation.
I don't.
aside
Well, the
from
movie
more
starts with them in the
random-
bus. I don't think. I don't think
they
you
were
were
in a
given much.
school.
Yeah.
and they had the collars on. I think you guys are right because I remember there was some women in there that were like
They were like
nowhere
real
near as
shy,
bad
right?
as
Yeah.
they had that one guy from out of the district that was like a pyromaniac.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was necessarily the bad kids.
It was a great gratuitous violence.
That's
yeah.
what. That's
Yeah.
all that I saw.
I loved
was
that
just
movie.
Like,
It was
just-
great.
Just that
What's that book with the kids on the island and the conch?
Lord of the Flies?
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies.
Oh, yeah,
Is it
okay, yeah,
is it in that kind of like they're
Less of
on
a
the
survival
island?
thing,
Yeah,
and more
well-
and less of like a created culture, right?
It's
Mhm.
almost identical to how these games play. They're on this island, and
Yeah.
over time there was areas in the island that they couldn't go to. Otherwise, these necklaces that had bombs in them would go off, killing them. So they were forced to get closer and closer. When they started, there was a bunch of random items they could pick up, and like one guy got a crossbow, and the guy got like a frying pan.
Right.
And they had to fight until one person was left.
And weren't the weapons
was-
assigned at the beginning? Weren't they handed the
I
shit
think they
on
were
the way
like
out?
assigned random
Yeah.
weapons or
I don't.
something.
I
Yeah,
think
they
in
handed
battle,
them duffel bags, didn't
Did
they?
they?
As
Or-
they were walking onto the island.
Was
or
it
whatever.
that? Well, I don't.
Because I remember they open this
I
shit
don't know
up,
if
and
they
one of
did.
them gets like a fucking machete or something. The
Oh,
other one
yeah.
picks
No,
up
you're right. And then they
frying
have,
pan is like, what the fuck?
and then they can
Yeah.
pick whatever up from
Right.
the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the movie was basically just, I think it was just an allegory for loss, kids having to deal with things above and beyond themselves. Because most of the movie was them just like trying to mentally keep from reeling about the fact that they're having to kill each other.
Yeah.
Until they.
And wasn't there a showdown at the end where they didn't want to kill each other and they
I don't
refused
remember
to? Or
It's
something?
been too long since I watched it.
Yeah.
It has a really like a pre-Hunger Games kind of
Oh,
It was
feel
very
to
much.
it.
Games.
The
Hunger Games ripped
wouldn't
it off.
exist without battle royale.
Well, at the very least, yeah, it's definitely derivative.
Yeah.
Hunger Games does stuff that Battle Royale didn't.
Certainly.
It's not a
Oh,
complete
very
copy,
much so. Yeah.
but yeah, it's in that same vein.
Well, yeah. I
But
mean,
take some kids, put them in an isolated setting, and let them go at it.
Yeah.
Is pretty much the.
That's Fortnite.
Yeah.
That's Fortnite.
Yeah, that's Fortnite. Take some kids.
But Fortnite's in Technicolor, neon, chrome.
I love the aesthetic of Fortnite. I think it's fantastic.
There's some great dancing involved too. So I've seen.
Yeah.
Dude, my niece and nephew, man, all they do all day is like, I mean, they don't stand still because they're kids, but like when they're not standing still, they're flossing. You know,
That floss boss.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I,
or they dab. You know,
I went and saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
Last
Was it
week on
out?
Friday. Yeah, it's out. It was sort of a random thing to go see it. I don't know.
Okay.
I cling to hope for all horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I'm disappointed time and time again.
How was it?
It was no different.
Uh,
It's definitely like made for kids. That
Yeah.
being said, the aesthetics were a lot of fun. Like the CG was super creepy.
just from the trailer,
cool.
it looked creepy.
It was creepy. That being said, the story was like threadbare. And
well, they were short stories in the book originally.
right.
Yeah,
So it would have been nice if they sort of just like took that approach as
If it-
as opposed to trying to create a common thread story.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the common thread story that they used was there was this rich eccentric family that owned a paper mill in this thing, and they were poisoning the local water supply. The youngest daughter finds out. They lock her in the basement, and there she writes these magical stories that come
And then
true, right?
in
And then
2019, kids get a hold of this book.
it's
right?
actually 1960s, but
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
the kids get a hold of this book in the haunted house and
Yeah.
pick up the book, and
Yeah.
then 4 or 5 stories are written about these kids as they're going through, right? And they hit like every trope, right? So the group of kids is like 2 nerdy kids and then the nerdy girl, and they meet up with
Token minority.
the token minority, the Hispanic kid who's following the harvest, who's actually a draft dodger because his brother came back in a box and he was like, "Fuck that, I'm not going to the war," you know.
Okay.
So it just hit all those tropes.
Yeah.
And the best part of the experience was actually in the middle of it. I had to get up and piss, so I get up, shuffle out, go, and I didn't want to shuffle back up through the people as I came back in. And you know how at the theater they have the front seats
Mm-hmm.
where it's sort of like a lower level, and then
Yeah.
there's a wall that goes up to the upper levels where the rest of the seats are. Well, down on that wall, it was empty. Nobody was there, except for there was one person as I walked back in. He had like lifted up the armrest and was reclined all across it like he was like in his living room just laying down. I was like,
Just
that's a
laying on
great
multiple
idea.
seats.
So I just was like, I'm not going to go pack up for these people. I'm not really into this movie at this point. I'm just going to lay down and enjoy it, right?
There you go.
So I reclined.
And then your date was pissed for the rest of the night.
His date was pissed for the rest of the night. Turns out it was a couple of teenagers like making out down in the front row, not wanting to be bothered. I laid down. They fucking left. That's when I realized there were 2 of them there. It was so satisfying.
Oh,
It
man.
really is one of the most satisfying things I've ever come across is to ruin a makeout session
It was
for
so
teenagers.
funny.
How many of those got spoiled for you when you were a teenager just by
Hey, do you have any popcorn I can have?
Right. No, at first, I
Who the fuck in the theater has asked you for popcorn?
People trying to ruin makeout sessions.
Oh god.
but yeah, I thought it was just some dude being really comfortable. Like I didn't realize it was 2 teenagers. I thought it was like some middle-aged person who was just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a great idea.
You have a good makeout ruining story, Josh?
I have ruined many a good makeout
All of his
session.
own.
Rude.
Well, one of mine being ruined. I remember I was 16. I thought I was going to get laid. And it was in my grandma's spare room, and thought I had the door locked. So I had just gotten her shirt off. I was rounding third, and in comes Nana. And needless to say, Josh did not get laid.
Now, was this Dementia Grandma or Don't Fuck My Bird Grandma?
This was Don't Fuck My Bird Grandma.
That's a story we need to hear soon.
Man, that
Don't
poor
fuck my
yeah,
bird.
don't fuck my bird grandma. So
I know who this. Don't. I would avoid saying his name probably.
Oh yeah. No, we're gonna keep it on the DL for the poor feller.
Yeah.
But
Wait.
it was my like 15th or 16th birthday.
Mhm.
And this poor guy, he was catching it from all over the place. So we wound up
Do I know this poor guy?
Yes, I believe he's known by
You knew him in early high
most
school.
of our friend group.
All right.
But it was my birthday, 15, 16, something like that. So a couple of my friends, so we go over to my first grandparents' house, and My grandfather was a Korean War veteran, did a little in Nam as well. He he's dead now, God rest his soul, mistrustful of Asian folks of most varieties. So he did not like this particular friend for, shitty reasons. But then we were driving, we went to go hang out with my other grandma, very English, flaming red hair. And we're riding in the car, and she said something like to the same guy about "don't fuck my bird," because she had a cockatoo that would just free roaming. Like
this was unprovoked.
Like comment? A side note, like when we get to my house.
Like by the way, when we get there,
and she pointed at the one friend in particular, and "don't fuck my bird." Yeah. And like I feel like again,
was it a moment of senility? You think, or
no, dude,
I don't know what it was. We were very confused. Oh yeah, I was in the car.
So this was like. Pointedly loud enough for everybody to hear, hey, you don't fuck my bird.
Yeah. I don't remember knowing what to say because it was just.
Did anybody say anything?
We're like 16.
I know. Did anybody say anything?
I don't remember. I can't tell you.
As I remember, it was an awkward laugh. But anyway, the the whole point of this, besides the "don't fuck my bird" part, it got even worse because my grandmother's bathroom flooded during the night and soaked the carpet. So for my birthday, remember, she had us scraping buckets of water down the hallway.
Yep.
And
should have fucked her bird.
I'll show her. Dude, that is a nightmare scenario, right? Clogging up the toilet at your friend's house.
I did that at your place once, Josh.
Oh.
Yeah. I know you did.
Colin always had the weakest pansy-ass toilets.
Oh, my God,
yeah,
dude. And
I can't tell you how many times I fucking... Please don't go over the edge. Please don't go over the edge. Please don't go over the edge.
3 pieces of toilet paper sometimes would clog that thing.
There were plenty of times where it must have been the shit prior or some leftover toilet paper prior that clogged the toilet, and I just happened to flush and it insta-clogged.
I just think it was spiteful.
There were plenty of times where it was just piss.
Rude.
Yeah. But yeah, you just take a pee and it fucking clogs. And convincing anybody that you didn't take a shit and clog the toilet with your shit is impossible.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, they want to make fun of you.
Here's a handy tip to all you listeners if you don't know this. If the toilet's beginning to overflow, there's a little metal twisty valve on the wall behind the toilet. It controls the water flow to the toilet. Twist that thing shut, it'll immediately stop filling.
And remember,
no more water.
Left to shut, right to open.
He is absolutely correct.
It's reverse threading?
Or you just do it like a man and slam your hand down in there and grab whatever's clogging the toilet.
Just fight with
Shove your fist right in there.
You will not.
Now this
not
is
today.
noodling. Right? Oh, man. We were
Yeah.
talking about working at fast food restaurants and just restaurants in general the other day, talking about the horror stories, talking about bathrooms. Were you working with me at that one when I got called in to break up the grapefruit?
We never worked together.
I don't think we did, yeah.
No, I came in and filled the role of a manager a couple times.
Yeah.
When you were working at that store, but we never
so.
Worked.
We had an emergency in the women's bathroom, and there was this orb. It was malevolent in nature, rock hard, and I don't know how that passed through the body of someone. And
you guys are familiar with Futurama, right?
Yeah.
The little nibbler poops. One of those.
This is ultra
but
dense,
a big nibbler poop?
Black hole orb. Well, the thing is, it was literally bigger than my fist.
Wow.
And I'm a normal-sized man. It was close to the size of a grapefruit, and I feel...
You saw something aborted in that toilet, dude.
Well, it was definitely feces, but it was rock hard and it wouldn't flush. So I got to be the one to put on the Infinity Gauntlet and manually break it up so that it would go down the toilet. Yeah.
You did that without the Infinity Stones?
Didn't have them at the time. There's no snapping that one away, man.
No, that's terrible.
I would just like to say to that story, thanks for telling it. I hate it.
You're welcome. Well, you guys invented Preepy or whatever you said earlier.
Preepy is going to catch on.
It just sounds like Preepy. That sounds like right before you pee.
Last week I got some pretty...
You have to change the inflection.
Last week I got some pretty bad news. I heard my grandma was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it got me a little creepy. Or Preepy.
I think whoa.
Preepy.
I don't remember
Before we
what
go any
preepy
further,
means.
yeah, what is the definition of preepy? Because that sentence.
Preepy. Wasn't it pre-weepy?
Pre-weepy.
Oh, pre-weepy.
yeah, that's
right?
Not pre-creepy.
But it does sound like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
That's
or,
what's so fun about it.
Or it sounds like the
Yeah.
moment before you pee.
At the funeral, they were giving the eulogy, and it got me all a little preepy. That's fun. I like that a lot.
It doesn't work.
It
Don't
does
like it.
though.
It's like italic
so-
Comic Sans on a newspaper headline.
That's it. That's exactly it. It's so jarring
yeah.
that it's fun.
I don't
It
know,
is
man.
fun.
A little misty
It is fun.
would be maybe a little bit more appropriate. Something
Well,
like
yeah, that would be more appropriate, but not
misty-eyed.
as fun.
Sure. Are you okay, son? I know it was hard to put
You're
grandma
looking a
on the
little
ground.
creepy.
You're looking a little creepy.
I'm gonna use that all the time, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Dude.
You're gonna be, what the fuck? I'm going pre-weepy. You don't know that?
I don't know.
And then I'm gonna make them
It's-
feel bad for not
It's a pretty
knowing.
common
it.
saying.
It's gonna be awesome.
not-
Yeah, exactly.
Not everybody had heard of it.
I mean, not necessarily around here, but everywhere else it's common saying. I don't know how you haven't heard of it so far.
I love it.
Oh man. So you guys just about ready to take a break?
Yeah, I'll take a break.
Yeah, I think a
can
little
smoke
break would
one.
be fun.
All right, awesome. Yeah, we'll be right back with you guys after a message from
See you soon.
me. Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you again for listening in, and just to let you know that you can follow us now on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And of course, we're always going to be available on your favorite directories like iTunes, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. You can find us on Twitter at Balcony Time PC. You can follow us on YouTube at BT Podcast. You can also go to our Instagram, that's Balcony Time Podcast. And as always, you can go to btpodcast.com to find all of this information. Again, we want to thank you. Send us an email, leave us a comment, leave us a review. We appreciate it all. And now back to the Balcony Time Podcast.
Now, the older you get, it's always fun to go and do stuff, right? You go out, hang out with people, or lunch dates, or bars. But it is nice sometimes to have plans canceled because all that kind of stress of like, oh, I got to go do the thing, get ready. Suddenly you got your evening open. And I know one of us in particular really enjoys that.
Guilty.
Just
Yeah.
an open evening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that is canceling plans. Having plans canceled when I don't have to do it. That's my heroin. Like you're just ready to go. It's the good stuff.
Yeah. Do you ever
Lay
make
back.
plans with the hope of that they get canceled?
Absolutely. All the time.
So
It's
you
what
just-
I live for some
So
days.
you just agree to all plans. You're like,
Yeah.
I know I have like 15 things on the docket today, but I'm
Something's gonna give.
positive.
Something's going to give.
Yep.
No, it's great. I will make a plethora of plans and then wind up staying at home on my couch doing nothing.
Man, you're just the busiest person in his underwear.
I really am. I really am.
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how many times is it that when I call you and you don't answer because you were quote unquote asleep on your phone, is that actually happening?
I would say that is a
Calling you out.
a soft 30%.
Okay.
A soft, I don't want to talk about it.
Most of the time, I'm like, this is gonna come up now for any of my friends that listen or people that know me that listen and be like, that son of a bitch. I knew it.
We're
Everybody
all
knows
guilty
what
of
you're
it.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of years thinking I was much more mysterious and hard to read than I am. I am like my first book able to read type of
See
person.
Josh. See Josh ignore the plans. See Josh put the phone down and not respond to the text.
Lays, Josh, lays. Yeah.
We never see Josh run, though.
Well, not anymore.
That's
not
because
after
I'm saving it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
For that day.
He's gonna
Yeah,
turn
for
80.
that day.
He's gonna turn 80 and not stop running for the next
He's
10
gonna Forrest
years.
Gump
He's just
it.
gonna die at 90.
I just want to point out that I am a natural sprinter. I am very dangerous over short grounds.
You're not short enough to be a dwarf.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I used to be, and then I grew a pair of man titties, and they slap around too much.
That's the end of that.
Just too much wind resistance.
Yeah.
Counterbalance.
I get sweaty
Right.
in like 4 seconds. There's chafing involved.
Yeah.
You know.
So that is the thing that my girlfriend complains about all the time.
Your man
is-
titties?
No. She loves them. She loves them.
But chafing.
No. How sweaty I am. I get sweaty.
Yeah, I know.
Is anyone else Is anyone else a sweater?
My
here?
armpits.
Just
dude.
your
my fucking pits.
You took all of my sweating abilities.
Yeah, no, because you only sweat on your legs, which
I sweat
find...
from like my waist down like a jungle, but I die in the heat. Like my pits, my head, I'll get barely any sweat, and I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I have to like take water and rub it on my arms to like make artificial sweat when it's hot. It's the weirdest thing.
I sweat.
I sweat
Just
like
all
crazy.
the time.
Just like I got a little glisten going on right here. It is perfectly cool in here, and I got a little glisten.
Yeah.
We run our air conditioning like ridiculously low. Like we keep this place.
I'm comfortable.
I'm pretty sure right now it's set at 60.
It's just,
But I'm sweating.
Yeah.
There was that
I'm sweating
time
from my pits,
where we
just to show you
found. Oh
Yes,
yeah,
we
just a
can
little
see
bit.
it.
Yeah.
but I'm
Thank
convinced
God
that
we
that's.
can't smell it.
I'm
Okay.
convinced that that's the intake of like chemicals not associated with food.
Yeah.
I think it's the caffeine,
yeah.
the nicotine, that sort of shit.
Definitely. There was that
Sweating
time
it
we
out.
found, what was that Tai Bo, the punching kicking workout?
Oh my God, we
We
were
were
doing that.
Billy
teenagers.
Blank.
No,
Billy
well, let's reiterate. A few of us were doing it because it was funny, and Josh was laying on the couch watching us, and he had to stop because he was sweating too much watching us do it.
Watching you guys making me sweat.
Yeah, it was at that point that what do you call it? Your English blood came out, and I was like, yeah, Josh, he's a sweater. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm built for 60-degree weather. If
Yeah.
it's 60 and cloudy, let me out there. That's what I want.
I feel you.
Yeah,
It's too cold.
I'm like a vampire in the daylight. With
60's
all this heat
perfect.
and everything, I feel like I'm going to burst into flames.
I love it.
conflagration, right?
I'm like a lizard. I just want to hang out in the 90-degree sun all day long.
No,
Fall asleep.
You lived
in
too
it.
long in California. It ruined you. Made you
Maybe.
soft.
you're living improperly.
Heresy.
basic
You're
science.
right. I'm not on an island.
No, dude. I'm so glad. Tomorrow's weather is only supposed to be like 91 degrees. And
Awesome.
I'm so happy about that because the alternative was like last week where it's like 100 fucking degrees every day.
Did it hit 100 last week?
No, it hit like 99.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably
still.
100 in downtown, all concrete and whatnot.
Well, I mean, there's been plenty of days this summer that got over 100.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was, but
We had a weird spring.
Right in the middle of
didn't get
right in the
over
middle of
100 in
June
the
there.
spring.
Was
Yeah,
all
no, I
nice
think it was
and
May, dude. It
cool
was-
and-
Well,
oh, that rain last week was fun. The
Oh
thunderstorm.
man, that was
It was cool because it smelled like rain
Mhm.
for
It was
about
so
a half an
nice.
hour before it started coming down real heavy.
were you guys awake at like 3:00 in the morning?
I
night
was
before last?
the lightning storm.
Oh my God!
Oh, yeah,
every
I caught the
it
lightning.
seems like everybody but me got woken up by that.
Dude,
Like,
Oh, it was.
my
I don't know how you could have
coworkers-
slept. I was awake because I got shit going on, but there was one that was actually like there was one long like minute-long rumble that was shaking shit in the apartment.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was huge.
I slept like a shot badger through that.
Yeah.
Dead to the world.
No, I caught it before I went to bed.
You mean a dead badger? Because if you don't fill that thing full of lead, it's still attacking you.
Yeah, he don't give a shit. Let's sleep it off. Honey badger don't give a fuck.
Did you know at Disneyland they have the face painting, but if you're a grown up, you can't get your whole face painted. You have to settle for half a face paint.
I can understand why.
Yeah, it's a security issue, right?
Well, yeah.
It's like for identification purposes. I went
Well,
one
for the
time.
happiest place on earth.
I know. I went once. I was half happy. I went one time. And I got the face painting. I was like, I want Darth Maul on my face all day long. And they're like, we can't do that. You're a grown up. And I was
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? They were like, it's security. I could do half your face. And I was like, then do half my face.
Could you tell them the top half?
Yeah.
I went this way.
Oh, so you
yeah,
did like a
vertical split.
hot dog,
Yeah.
hot dog rather than hamburger fold.
You
I
went-
wonder. I didn't even think to do the
Yeah.
top half versus the bottom half.
That's what I would have done.
That would have been fun.
They probably wouldn't have done it.
Probably not.
No, because it covers
Just
too
across
much of
the eyes.
But like at the end of the day, how hard is it to find the dude who's dressed as Darth
Yeah.
Maul?
Yeah.
The Darth Maul face painted guy is
Yeah, that
robbing
dude was-
the corn dog stand.
Well, I
Just
think
find
it's,
the guy with the red and black face.
you don't want Darth Maul to disappear with somebody's kid.
Well, now that it's
I think
just-
that's I think
Amber
that's
Alert.
kind of
Everyone
yeah.
gets a text in the U.S. Darth Maul has stolen a child. Last seen in an
I guess you just
84
wash it
station
off real
wagon.
fast.
well,
or
with the
whatever.
with the Star Wars land, I feel like that might be more of a thing because Darth Maul is easily the coolest person from the prequels.
Yeah. So you think there's just a bunch of people running? Oh, dude, don't. That's not even a question.
What are you on about over there?
Yeah, like who else is in contention?
Watto. Joking.
I am a Trogdarian.
Ching ching.
Yeah.
Who?
Prequel movies. Are we gonna lay it on the line?
What? You look.
Prequel
you
memes,
look like
sequel memes.
You look like you got a thought pregnant up
Well,
there.
yeah, because I don't look at Darth Maul and think he's the coolest.
He was pretty cool.
He was fucking awesome. I love
How
Darth
old
Maul.
were we?
Okay, well, who's the
14?
coolest character from the movies?
Well, I mean,
From
I'm
the
not
prequel
asking. I'm not
movies?
asking you who the coolest is because we know that. I'm asking you who you think the coolest.
Well,
is.
I think they're contenders. I think Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are contenders.
Qui-Gon.
For
They're
the
neat.
coolest.
Qui-Gon seems like he's cool, but you actually watch the movies, he's a bit of a ponce. I mean, that's not the perfect word.
Yeah, but that-
he
I
doesn't
don't know,
really
I don't
do anything. Think about it like this way. What's the old thing? Okay, give me 4 like descriptive adjectives for Han Solo.
rogue.
Cool.
Okay. Now,
Dangerous.
Darth Vader.
I guess roguish. Oh, Vader, evil.
Breathy.
Powerful.
Now do Qui-Gon Jinn.
Long hair.
He wants
Hair.
to have helped.
That's like a phrase. That's not one.
Yeah, single word. Hair.
Well, yeah, if you can't manage a easy, quick adjective.
Blue lightsaber. No, that's
It's
too
green,
much.
motherfucker.
Yeah, blue. I think green. Yeah,
Yeah.
some light color. I think
All
kind of
right,
gray.
we don't
like
remember the
blue-gray.
color of his
Yeah.
lightsaber. He's not as cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Darth Maul had 2 cooler lightsabers.
He was red. His clothes were
Do
black.
you
Like, I remember
remember
everything about
the
him.
jimmies rustled in such a good way when he held his lightsaber out and it kicked in, and then the second blade
Oh,
extended,
fuck yeah, I do.
and all of our 14-year-old
Well,
brains just exploded?
my biggest issue with it is at first I assumed it was a lightsaber, like a single-bladed lightsaber, right? So I was
Well, we all
thinking that
did.
hilt is so fucking long. That
Yeah.
thing looks stupid as hell.
That's
and
what
then that
everyone
happened.
thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
And then it kicked on.
yeah. You're like, oh, those Jedi are. That's gonna be a
So
salsa party.
fucked.
that
Yeah.
fucking scene where he's just glaring through the shield
Yeah,
wall,
walking
back and
pacing
forth.
back and forth.
All right.
He just looks like a wolf.
My
Or
mind's
a
made.
tiger or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mind's made. You're right. I mean,
Thank you.
I just
We
wanted to
appreciate
give the
that.
others a chance.
It's
hard
noble
to
of you.
I
remember
feel
other
like
important characters.
General Grievous was an underused
Yes.
I mean, also Darth Maul, super underused, but General Grievous was also really fucking cool. He
Oh,
killed,
he was the droid guy, right?
yeah, he killed all those Jedi to take their lightsabers,
Yeah.
He was pretty interesting.
and then he had that stupid bitch fight with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I just didn't like the way he looked.
I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks
I
to that-
loved the way he looked.
Too many arms.
Well,
well,
I do. I no.
What?
I thought there were too many arms.
No.
No, you're wrong.
That
Yeah,
was
you
kind of
were
goofy
wrong.
looking.
The more arms, the better.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's simple.
there's an argument for that. No,
it's
don't get me
a
wrong.
rule that I live by,
Yeah.
and I think it makes more sense than fewer arms.
Sure.
when we were really young and playing Dungeons and Dragons, we still do, but we used to too. One time, Andy got a wish spell, anything you want, and if you ask for too much, the DM can mess with you, the dungeon master. And Andy's first go-to, without hesitation, as a little dwarven fighter, was just more arms to carry more axes with. At one point, he had 6 arms.
Yeah. So later on in the campaign, we were doing. I don't
You
remember.
wish
what-
for
it
infinite
was-
money.
Yeah, no, it
ultimate
was more
supreme
arms.
power.
That's
It's
yeah,
just
it was
more
like,
arms
okay, more
for
arms.
more axes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The only
eventually,
thing
I
that's
was a
gonna
6.
cure this fever is more arms.
Yeah,
Hit
eventually,
them
I was a
cowbells.
6-armed dwarf carrying 6 dwarven war axes.
I
Just
don't
made
want to
sense.
try to mentally image a dwarf that can contain 6 arms within his frame, right?
I'd like to
Yeah.
think they're
It's
not
weird looking.
all along the sides.
yeah,
They're coming out of
gotta
different
be in
places.
weird
They come up like
middle of the chest.
out of the kneecaps.
one out of the forehead that like doesn't bend. It's just a lever.
There's one hiding under the beard.
Exactly.
keeps getting stuck on stuff.
Yeah. It's just a tiny little baby arm tucked beneath the
See, as a
scruff
DM,
there.
that's how you should have reacted. You should have fucked with me. It'd been like, all right, you have 2 baby arms. They just
I
grew
do that now that I know to like
It's fair.
gently mess. No, I wouldn't. It's mean. You have a wish spell. I'm not gonna waste it.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know,
fair.
but is a tiny
Appreciate it.
baby beard arm a waste? Like,
Never.
talk about an intimidation check.
I mean,
right?
if I found a 3rd wish scroll, I think maybe you should have been
Yeah.
like, well, they're not going to be usable. No, I would have been fine with that. It's just more arms. It makes sense.
Anytime I think of more arms, I think of Goro from
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, like the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
weird. I don't know how they did that effect, but it was
thick
goofy
dude.
looking.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that was like full animatronic.
It was
Yeah.
pretty.
Was
When
it?
I
For
look
the
back
time,
at it,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
pretty good looking.
I don't know
yeah.
if it was animatronic.
It looked sort of lifeless, right? Like the
Mhm.
face were kind of like it was robotic movements for sure.
So I think I talked to you a little bit about it back then. I was watching every cutscene from Mortal Kombat, the newest one,
I'm sorry.
11. It was fantastic. It's the same reason you watch WWE, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Movie or
it was
game?
great.
I thought you were.
Huh?
Movie?
He's talking about the newest game.
The newest game.
I thought at
the
first you were
cutscene.
talking about the movie.
There is like 20 hours of cutscenes. I'm not even. This is not an exaggeration.
Of
There are like
fatalities
20
or cutscenes?
of cutscenes.
Like story cutscenes?
Yes.
Okay.
It's. I mean, if you want to get through the entire storyline without watching the cutscenes, probably takes like, I don't know, an hour and a half. With the cutscenes, it's like this is a multi-day commitment. It's huge.
It's Mortal Kombat.
I haven't
This
played
is
Mortal
so-
Kombat since like the Sega fucking Genesis.
I think that was the last time I
Dude,
played
okay,
it.
so
Maybe in 64.
the Sega having blood in the first Mortal Kombat was great. That's the only thing that they held above the fucking SNES. More buttons.
Yeah.
More
Well,
buttons.
Yeah.
I don't know. I beat that game just forward kicking with Sub-Zero. Like I would freeze somebody,
Yeah.
and then just forward flip them into the corner, and then I would just.
It
repeat
works if
that.
they don't know what they're doing.
It was to beat the game. Like
Yeah.
the
Oh, just to beat
PC.
the single
Yeah,
player,
it was just. I found a combination that worked against the PC every time.
For sure.
I enjoyed the combos in Killer Instinct much more. Just
Well,
being able to get up to like 23, 27, 30 hits.
Getting there was amazing.
Monster
My
combo.
my favorite fighting game was Dead or Alive 3.
Really?
Yeah, that was my favorite.
My
fighting
favorite
game I ever
fighting
played.
game is the physical altercations I get into for playing video games.
My turn on the Xbox. Fuck you, Mike.
Yeah, no, nothing in recent years. But there was that one year Colin and I ruined Christmas
Oh yeah,
no.
over
the
D&D
boots.
Heroes.
D&D Heroes.
The
D&D Heroes.
Oh my god.
Farting
What
over
happened?
party loot. We're playing. It's essentially Gauntlet Legends, right?
Mhm.
Remember Gauntlet Legends? But
Yeah.
it's D&D, and items dropped that multiple people could use, and these magical boots
sure.
dropped. And Colin and Josh went from those are Biden boots, though, to no, those are my boots, to hitting each other with police batons,
Yeah.
and it got
Knocking
real.
over a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
Colin's head bled.
yeah,
Because I hit him in the head with an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I mean, right
Like,
in the
you threw
middle
it?
of the forehead.
You threw it at him?
No,
Or you
I
beamed him with
I
it?
clubbed him with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And then I think Colin grabbed the police baton that was there and ended
Yeah.
the fight.
No, knocked over the fucking tree,
Yeah.
the Christmas tree. Yeah, it was a mess.
remember
dude.
Which was
Christmas
the
tree.
first
It was
ever
all
time I
terrifying.
heard, Joshua, you've ruined Christmas.
It wasn't the
Notice,
last.
yeah,
No,
it was just first. Yeah. No, that was a great fight. I mean, legitimately violent.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that we were friends by the end of the night. Like, I mean, it didn't last long.
Yeah.
Who ended up with the boots?
I don't think anyone remembers.
I think Colin did.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Colin did.
Josh knows
maybe.
Colin did. He's trying not to let us know that he
Yeah.
knows the.
Yeah, well, I don't think I played. I don't think I was allowed to play again for the
Yeah.
rest of the night.
There might have been
I
a real
think.
break.
Yeah, like I don't feel like I was allowed to play again. So I'm not really sure who wound up with the boots. I know it wasn't me though.
Now, the real struggle to remember here is who were they actually better for?
Oh, the stats on the boots?
Yeah.
I think it might have actually been a scenario where one class could technically equip them, but none of the stats were effective for that class. And at some point, someone was just being the devil's advocate, like, no, I've decided these are my boots. Like, regardless of in-game effectiveness, I'm
I
just
feel like
taking
Colin said he had dibs on them, and as I remember, I think, well, you can't fucking call dibs on video game boots, and that's what started it. And then I just wouldn't.
So it wasn't a
give
fight
him-
over the boots. It was a fight over the ethics of the boots.
Yeah,
And this is before
It was the
DKP
principle of the matter.
Fair enough.
and
That's a loftier
group
fight.
loot and
I really
Yeah.
feel it is.
Dude, that would have been excellent. Keeping DKP like on a little tally sheet while
Yeah.
we're playing D&D
okay, you
Heroes.
get the next loot. Yeah. Okay, let's do round robin. No.
Oh man, that's a 50 DKP minus. That would have been great.
Man, do you think another MMO thing is ever going to happen?
Not while we still have World of Warcraft.
I just mean like that level of community and engagement and longevity.
for sure. I mean,
I think it's going to happen with VR once it becomes ubiquitous in homes.
very possibly. I don't know if it necessarily needs that, but I think there will be another big MMO eventually.
There is going to be a huge MMO when VR comes out that everybody's going to love. And that's when we're slowly going to be trapped inside the battery tubes and the robots are going to take our
That's
juices.
fine.
We are super ineffective batteries.
They can have
Yeah.
my juices. I don't give a fuck.
I never understood why the Matrix went with the battery thing. They could have had us in vats for any other multitude of reasons, but we're
At
not
the end of the
good
day,
batteries.
though, it's unlimited batteries, right?
Well, we die.
We die,
decay.
but we can always be reproduced.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
you
Artificially.
you can reuse battery material. Why not just make actual batteries?
They have rechargeable batteries now.
Yeah.
Because it's more sinister.
Because it's more sinister.
Because you need a bad guy, dumbass.
Yep.
I still enjoyed the premise. Well, and who says that we're actually that inefficient? Maybe after the robots figure us out,
Right.
we'll be super efficient. We'll
Sure.
just maybe they might science better than we do.
Yeah, they might have had the right technology.
I think they just wanted our proteins.
Or maybe
Right.
they'd gone through all of the fucking lithium that's available.
That, or maybe it was just fucking revenge, or all those years of being enslaved under
Yeah.
the human thumb.
Yeah, a little
If
earth.
it was
cucking.
revenge, why would they let you lead a happy life?
You're not.
Well,
You're-
that was
you're
like the
fakely-
fucking
Well, the-
100th version of the Matrix.
Yeah,
Sometimes they didn't.
Otherwise, they rejected it if it was too bad or too perfect.
Yeah.
It has to be just the right amount of struggle.
Just the right amount of Matrix.
Okay.
Are you just
don't
not
remember
remembering
this.
it? Yeah.
I don't remember the Matrix being like set to 60% of happy.
Yeah,
No, that was.
I
I
remember
remember
that
it
the
was.
main-
It was
the main
revealed in the
character was-
Morpheus interview.
Yeah, well, the
No, I
architect.
feel like when the
Oh, at the
old
very
dude,
end.
yeah,
Yeah, with all the
architect.
screens. That's
Yeah.
right.
I'll say it again. So it was the architect.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking
Very
about
Matrix.
the sequels that they never made. I'm talking about the only Matrix
That's right.
movie.
right.
Right.
Sure.
So,
The sequels weren't going back and watching it now that the hype has died down. The
my
sequels were not that
favorite
fucking
part
bad.
about the sequels, Matrix sequels,
The
was
choreography.
well, I mean, definitely besides the fight choreography, but I skipped school to watch both of them, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
it's worth it.
You guys remember when we went to go
Yeah.
see episode 3?
Yeah. I was going to
Or it was episode 3.
Russville,
So,
Yeah, when we had Russville. Yeah. I
When
forgot
the-
that's what we called it.
yeah,
but
it made the news.
dear
I don't
audience,
remember.
So when we went to go see episode 3, it was just pouring balls the entire time we were there, and we were there like 30 hours before the movie was set to
No.
come out.
the night before. We never made it more than a night. So, explain to the audience, we used to camp out in front of the movie theater for the
for
Star
Star
Wars
Wars.
releases. Some of us would get there as early as like the night before, hang out all day, playing board games, hanging out with other nerds.
Just good times.
And
Great.
are we
Yeah.
talking about the Colin situation?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. You can continue from there.
when we made the news, right? We
Mhm.
all had our interviews, and Colin got interviewed. And
The Jar Jar interview?
No.
Oh,
You
okay,
can
all
still
right, all right.
Google
Yeah.
that and have
Yeah,
the
it's still in the Mail
article of him
Tribune.
saying that his favorite character is Jar Jar Binks.
And he's worried about the picture of him mooning people.
Right.
being
Yeah.
on
Oh
the-
my
That's
God.
what he's worried
So-
about, not
Yeah.
the Jar Jar.
Anyways,
comment.
I think you were getting to the point that we had gotten to it a couple hours away from the movie.
Yeah, I
coming out.
mean, he had a ticket purchased. But like we were fucking. The rain had let up. It was becoming a nice day. We were
Mhm.
drying out. Moods were good. And Colin's parents showed up and took him away because he skipped school to go
Skipped
see
school
it.
to come see it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Poor guy.
shame, dude. Because that was the best of. I think that was my favorite of the prequels.
I love camping out for movies. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much
It was a
fun.
lot. I think it's great.
Josh and I did it for the last Star Wars.
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't join you
episode
guys until the morning, but
8 or 7.
I've done it for every Star Wars movie since Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones.
you did it for 8. Did we do it for 8? All of us.
I've done it for every Star Wars movie that I've been alive for. So all the prequels and all the new movies.
I wasn't able to join you guys for 7 because I was out of town. That's right. But I have been there for every other prequel except for 8. Or
Yeah,
7.
the Force Awakens was a rough one to wait for outside because it was December when it was released. It was
Yeah.
cold. It was
Mhm.
rainy.
They're
I
all
remember
gonna be
when
like
the
that now.
second Matrix came out. I don't remember who had waited, but Chris was waiting in line, and
I was there with Russ Christensen.
that's right. So if you'll recall, we tried to get in because it was rated R, and we needed an adult there
Oh.
to get in. And I remember Chris trying to get in, like before the adults showed up to let us in, and they asked for his ID, and he pulls out his fucking ID, and he covers up his birth date with his thumb,
Yeah.
and he hands it to the usher, and the usher tries to take it from him.
Chris
And
is not-
Chris doesn't let go. And so there's this little tug of war, and you see Chris wave with his other hand like he's trying to do a Jedi mind trick. Legitimately, he's trying to get the guy to let go of his card with his mind. And the guy looks at him funny, and Chris just sort of gives up and walks away sort of abashedly. And then we waited for his mom to show up to let us in.
That's
These are not the ID cards you're looking for.
It was
Oh,
so funny to see in real time.
That's such a Chris thing to do too.
Yeah.
Is like I'm
just
no,
gonna
I'm gonna hold it.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna hold it.
No, this is my idea.
I feel way more comfortable if I held it. You know.
You've seen it. That's enough.
Yeah.
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 Silly.
Yeah, waiting in line. That shit's fun.
You know, there's a bunch of fucking hipsters that now that you can like reserve your seats ahead of time and like do all that cool shit, right? With
Love it.
It's excellent. But now that you can do that, there are these fucking hipsters that are like, well, that ruins line culture.
Well, I was about to say.
There's other places you can wait.
You can still just fucking stand outside the theater.
No,
there's nothing stopping the line.
You killed the spirit with a crowbar and 2 M80s, right?
Yeah. No. Well, there's this whole thing about waiting for your seat.
The idea is
you got
that,
down there early so you would get a good seat.
Sort of a matter of pride.
Here's the thing.
Sure.
Before you could assign your seats and get the tickets ahead of time, you'd have to wait. There was people waiting in line. You knew those people were going to be there, and they were always there, and they were nerds just like us, and you got to go hang out with them. And they were all creeds and colors, right? Mm-hmm. Now that there's buy your ticket ahead of times, I'd bet money that like the next Star Wars that's going to come out, there's going to be like us and 2 people.
No,
because it's tradition for like Star
there
Wars.
are more people than that dress up for the occasion.
I'm telling you, the number of people that were at these sequels compared to when we were young, the prequel movies. Oh man! I mean, then again, the prequels were like the first new Star Wars movies,
and that's what I was just about to say. Is now we're going to be hit with a frequency that
we had the 501st cosplayers come down during the prequel things. We had 30, 40, 50 people there. The local news, and when Josh and I went, there was maybe for the majority of the day about 10, 15 people.
Yeah, I would say I don't know. Yeah, maybe 15, 20, but
maybe
we were like the third or fourth people in line. We didn't get down there till like 11 even. I mean, so we waited in line a solid 13, 14 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, by no means until like midday was there any worry. But that's, I don't know. That's kind of the point. It's getting down there, trying to get your seat. I mean,
board
like,
games, reading books.
I still think there will be an event. I think there's just going to be fewer people that... I think there will be fewer people, but I think you're just weeding out the chaff, dude.
I think one of the coolest moments we were
I just want to say it's only the Star Wars movies I'm sad that I no longer get to wait for, because everything else I love rolling in 5 minutes, knowing where my seat's at.
You still can, though. Still can.
That's something I have to remind my parents all the time. It's like, it's okay if you're 5 to 10 minutes late to the movie. It's all preview shit.
Yeah.
We've bought our tickets. The seats will be empty.
That was pissing me off on Friday. I was like, man.
Unless it was...
Tell me the actual showtime and I'll show up then.
I know. I don't...
Or tell me when the trailer... Like, I like the trailers.
Don't get me wrong. Last time I went there, it was like 18, 19 minutes after showtime the movie starts. Like, that's almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
With some movies, now that Disney owns everything, they're all blockbusters. With a lot of those movies, it's hard to get in the third week if you don't reserve your tickets now. I wasn't able to see Endgame in the theaters, and I had just given it up on it like 2 months in because there was, just checking the app to see if there was ticket availability 45 minutes before the movie started, there never was any. So I just gave up on it.
It's just completely inopportune for a theater to allow for seats to be first come first serve when they can let them be bought in advance.
Oh well, yeah,
same premises. It makes sense. But like you said, there's a couple of big movies we tried to go see, and I tried to buy tickets a week before the showtime,
and it sold out for a week.
Yeah. So
on
the
that
price
shit earlier.
Of the future.
Yeah.
Speaking of the future, drones are awesome. I
want to get one.
Correction: drones are terrifying.
Well, yeah,
I want to get one.
Awesome can mean terrifying in its original meaning.
Yeah.
Awe-inspiring, I suppose.
You know what's awesome? Yeah. Tigers, also terrifying.
Now, tiger drones, we're getting into dark territory, right? That's scary shit.
Dark territory.
Yes.
Drones. So, a couple things. One, I saw a video. There's a YouTube channel. Hopefully we can put in the show notes because I cannot remember it. These people are flying RC Star Wars ship drones out in nature. And they made a little movie with CG of them shooting at each other, flying underneath bridges, through the trees. It was on Reddit. Really, really cool. Also, here's a terrifying idea to put in your head. You get a cargo truck with like a canvas top or something, right? Filled with 10,000 tiny drones. Put a little explosive shrapnel charge in each of them. You drive it, you have it park in a parking lot overnight. Middle of the night, all the drones take off, land on rooftops, recharge solar panels. The next day, like middle of the day after they've recharged, they just target faces with facial recognition technology. Talk about
the U.S. Army already has something very similar to that. Drone swarms.
Yeah, it's terrifying. What do you do? What do you do against that?
I mean, everything that's happening in Black
Shine a laser pointer at it.
Yeah,
you know,
Laser pointers don't work when they can communicate with each other, right?
I don't think laser pointers fuck with infrared.
Right.
You know.
Have you guys heard of the thing that like Google and Amazon are competing to design the war cloud?
I've heard about this.
So
We're talking about Skynet.
It's it's essentially
It's
Skynet. We want to add an AI to the military to make everything run that much faster, to get rid of those checks, those balances, get everything going that much faster.
Why not try doing it ourselves first? Like, there's so much efficiency that I'm sure could be implemented ahead of that.
Press on the brakes here.
Right.
We are nerds. What do you mean by AI? I haven't read enough to know on the topic.
And it just said an artificial intelligence to run like logistics and departure times and things like that, getting the gears going in whatever it takes for a battle. I'm by no means an expert on AI or military procedures. It just sounded terrifying to me.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a given that the military is going to move more and more towards, what do they call it? The fifth zone? What is it? What do they call them? Land, sea, air, space, and now online is there's a book that just came out about it. But eventually, everything's going to be wireless and instant, and the military is just going to get more and more terrifying, right?
Is the term you're looking for the fifth estate?
It's not a state.
Okay. I don't know where I'm drawing that from.
But I don't know.
It's brain farts.
Yeah.
They happen. The most disappointing thing about how militarily we are, like the direction we're going in, is we're not going to get like Robotech. We're not going to get Steel Battalion.
Giant mechs.
Yeah. Why not Mech Warrior?
Yeah, the cool factor should, in my opinion, override the pragmatic factor. The fact
or the practicality. Fuck,
it's super
dude. Why don't we have bipedal robots yet? Like, why can't I suit up?
Because legs are so hard to replicate.
Fucking figure that out. This is America, dude. We can figure that out.
How long did it take Boston Dynamics to go from cute dog to scary dog? Like 15 years?
Yeah, but now you can't fucking tip one of those things over.
You can still shoot the motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, it's fine. Throw some fucking armor on it. Sprinkle some armor on that shit. Strap it. Yeah.
It's like Armor Bay.
Yeah. Sure, I guess. Bullets instead of salt, I guess. Yeah. Bullet Bay.
Bullet Bay.
Yeah. Just a little pepper. Just a little salting of bullets. The
fifth dimension
is that what it's called?
Is what they call good old Wikipedia here. Yeah, the warfare complements land, sea, air, space, and
the web.
The web, I guess. Yeah.
Well, we really need to work on the Space Force.
Has anything come of that?
No, of course not.
Yeah. We just threw a bunch of money. We just figured out another excuse to throw,
I don't even know there was money. I think it was literally just a tweet. It was just, we need a Space Force.
We need Space Force.
And more hookers on government payroll or something. I don't remember.
More hookers on government payroll is fine. They got to eat too.
There's a genius tweet that came out saying, like, I can't believe a president's finally saying we need a Space Force and I still hate him. Right?
Yeah. Who would have thought? It's a shame that we have a Twitter president. Like, if we want to go into it, there's the whole not even implying blaming video games for violence in our culture now.
I feel like that was covered once already.
Yeah, that was
wasn't
covered
it?
in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. We were talking about Chick Stick McGee. What's his name?
Jack Thompson.
Yeah,
the old lawyer.
I hate even saying his name. It curses my tongue.
Yeah, he was the lawyer that was trying to sue Acclaim, I think, is who did Mortal Kombat.
He was attempting.
Is it Konami? It's Konami, is it? Yeah.
No, it's not Konami. No.
I remember I was doing a report on the effect of violence on video games, like in high school or something. And in the research, I had come across basically publications of parental groups giving descriptions of video games. And there was one description that was something to the effect of, this game has evil undertones with terrible sorcerer, and there's magic that's bad and sort of misogynistic. Turns out they were talking about Super Mario Brothers.
Oh.
Well, misogyny I can see.
Yeah. Save the princess, the flying turtles with the wands.
Right, but it was just like, the description was such a bizarre take on the game.
Well, dude, if we want to break it down, we're talking about extreme racism against turtles and mushroom people.
Yep.
And
prejudice.
the point is, like, you can interpret anything like that to suit your argument.
You know, Dungeons and Dragons was blamed for the downfall of youth in its time.
But the fact of the matter is, like, the data's out. People have done the studies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Video games, for every study that has been shown that there's some correlation, it's either been in contention or triple fold shown that it isn't, right?
Yeah.
People didn't get fat overnight because Pac-Man came out. I saw that tweet or picture. It's like, yeah, you can't.
Well, I mean, also other countries have violent video games. I mean,
every country has games.
Right? Finland isn't out there.
Problem.
No one in Finland's, there's no mass shootings there, but I'm sure they're still playing GTA. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So I
that, and I've always thought, isn't there the argument to be made that humanity has violent impulses to begin with?
Definitely.
And if you can find a medium that is safe to channel those impulses
For
into,
sure.
isn't that safer for society?
Yeah.
I hate to go on a limb, but I was reading up on some of these today, and I think there was a few studies that showed that, especially amongst the not quite kids, teenagers, preteens, they actually had lesser violence tendencies after playing a violent video game. I mean, I don't know how much correlation that is, and if it's really that effective. But
I don't like to say that it is a good outlet, because I don't think necessarily anybody's using it as an outlet for anger. Like, when I get real pissed, I'm not like, I need to shoot somebody in Call of Duty or whatever. That's not the attitude. But I think it has a calming effect, right? Like, I mean, it's just
like, I want to blow off some steam.
Right.
I'm going to do something that doesn't matter.
You get a little bit of time to chill out on the couch, relax.
yeah.
And even if you're not thinking through anything, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think
the other thing that bothers me is if you don't play video games and you don't know much about them, you don't realize that it's like saying all movies or all sports. There is so much diversity in video games, just in the emotions they can bring up, the genres they cover, that to say that video games cause people to be violent, or even violent video games. Some violent video games may display violent imagery or have you do something violent, but the game itself on the whole may not be that bad, or maybe it's portraying the violence in a bad light.
Yeah.
There was that semi-shitty violent, what was that shooter game? It was kind of shitty, but it dealt with like PTSD. We talk about Desert,
I know what you're talking about. It'll come to me eventually.
They're just like social commentary games, and those exist out there, right? Yeah. You got to remember, video games have only been around. No, you're thinking of Machine Gun Game or whatever that arcade game was.
Gun.
Yeah. But yeah, video games have been around realistically for 50 years. That's nothing compared to the length of books or music.
Sure.
Other
cultural influences.
Well, and I feel especially in this day and age, playing video games is more of a social thing, right? Than anything, because the first thing I do when I log on to my Xbox account, I see, oh hey, look, my buddy in Texas, she's playing, so I'm gonna hop on and we're gonna shoot the shit about our families and our work weeks while we're playing the game, so it's a great way to unwind and really really connect, but. Much like with anything on the internet, to meet some true friends, you got to wade through a lot of dicks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
The older I get, sorry to keep interrupting, I play less and less single player games. I love them. Don't get me wrong. But one, I'm in my 30s. I don't have time to devote to those games I used to be able to. And two, more and more often I play single player games, and I think the whole time I could be playing this with somebody else. And that's why I've been playing a lot of tabletop games recently. I love the aspect of tabletop D&D and similar games. We're running a Black Hack OSR game.
And sitting down with friends is always a fun time.
Just the social aspect of it, Yeah.
It's a good way to get to know somebody too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, since the arcade is kind of we got just the tail end of that, right, guys? I mean, we got
born a little too late for
the
that
tail
era.
end of that.
But we did have the 90s golden age of video games.
Oh, yeah.
Which, oh, man, some of the games that come out in the 90s.
Dude, I still go back at least once a year and play some Mega Man X.
Oh, yeah.
That
I got
game
it down
is so
to like
fucking good.
Sub to an hour and a half. I think I can beat it.
Yeah.
2 hours maybe, somewhere around.
You played that shit on your phone now, too. What?
Why would you ever?
Just because I can play it at work. I mean, I never play Mega Man at work, please. Nobody play that. I've never once played Donkey Kong at work.
There is no such thing as playing Mega Man without a controller.
It would be so hard to do the slides and whatnot with a touch screen.
It really is, but I mean, It's what I'm willing to spend
this can be a very
mastering.
Short conversation. Does anybody else play idle games?
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
I did. I played a little bit of
Adventure Capitalist.
Adventure Capitalist, yeah.
Okay, then I won't make this long thing. Never mind. They're an interesting subject in that I don't even know if they qualify as games. But
I still think they're games.
We feel left out on this side of the table.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I'll at least explain it. It's a slightly interesting topic.
It's a very popular genre.
I'd say Adventure Capitalist was one of the...
It was an early one.
Cookie Clicker. You guys might be familiar with Cookie Clicker. You've ever heard of it? No.
Is it like a tap game?
So you click a cookie and you make a cookie. And you click it a bunch and you make 10 cookies. Once you have 10, you can buy a better clicker. Now each time you click it, you get 2 cookies. And then eventually you can buy Grandma and she auto-clicks the cookie for you. And things continue to increase. Right? This was an old web browser game.
So it's not like Candy Crush?
No. They're called idle games or incremental games. And the general idea is that your goal is to get your numbers as big as higher. And the more numbers you get, you can turn those numbers in to make your numbers get higher quicker, exponentially, logarithmically. Right?
Okay.
And most simple idle or incremental games follow the same pattern. They're a little boring. You eventually get the ability for them to auto-run on their own. You check them once or twice a day maybe. But some of the more complicated ones, like Swarm Sim comes to mind. For one, it's a very easy and fun way to learn how to handle large numbers, scientific exponents and whatnot, 1.21 times 10 to the 32nd, that kind of stuff. You get to visualize how big numbers work really well. And I find that in the better idle games, the game is found in finding the most efficient way to make your numbers the biggest, the fastest.
Right.
And it's very rare you'll find an idle game where there's a failure state. Some of them have them. But what I like about them is once you get the handle of some of them, you can sometimes let them run for a week and you just check it once. You spend 5 minutes, and then you'll play for like an hour straight where you're doing little things, trying to like tweak your optimization. And then once you have it set up, you let it run for another couple of days, another week, and then you check back in.
Sounds like gardening.
It's kind of gardening. It's very Skinner boxy, little incremental rewards.
It is, generally kind of a soothing thing. It's watching numbers, right? That's always
if you like numbers, just to be ability to say, okay, I've got 10 quintillion of these things, and I can turn them into only a quadrillion, but they're worth like 1.1
so this
points
is,
each.
This is Adventure Capitalist.
Oh, Adventure Capitalist.
Yeah,
I'm
so
looking at it here.
Okay.
On the one of the first things you can do, or one of the very first thing you do, is you make a buck.
And you buy a lemonade stand.
Yeah.
Sept non. I'm not.
It's
what the fuck kind of word?
That's how much money I've got.
So Adventure Capitalist, you start off buying a lemonade stand.
You buy a lemonade stand,
and then makes you money.
You run
and then you get like a donut shop, right? And it took me. I didn't pay any real money.
Sepnonagentillion? Is that what that says? Sepnonagentillion?
Probably.
I didn't read it.
That took me a minute to decipher that shit.
You eventually learn the names of at least the American, quadrillion, quintillion, sextillion,
Quinonagentillion?
Yeah. So it took me just over a year.
I'm going to name my kid Quinonagentillion.
Quinn. It's a good one.
There you go.
Yeah, short for Quinn.
Long for Quinn.
It's interesting. I mean, so eventually they have to put out new content, right?
Ooh, that's
you've
my
just
favorite
beaten
number.
the game, essentially. You've gotten
the
all the things.
Sexnonagentillion.
Yeah, Sexnonagentillion. So they put out like a little... I guess you can call them expansions.
Yeah.
Now you can go to Mars.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you open up all those factories and all that. The tourist traps on Mars. Or
it's fun,
they
though?
went Moon and then Mars, I think. But.
It's fun if you like. I know you like math. You went to school for it. I could show you a couple games. They're almost entirely text. So the game itself is just descriptive text. Swarm Sim comes to mind because it gets as complicated as you want it to. You go to the subreddit and you see people dealing with like discrete math and high-level statistics and probabilities and thinking, lots of factors and algebraic equations, trying to figure out what is the most efficient path towards your current goal. So it's as deep as you want it to get. Those kinds of auto games are few and far between, though. Most of them are just like, press this button a bunch. And
that one seems colorful and easy to dip your toe into.
Adventure Capitalist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I honestly see how playing games like that could make you want to shoot somebody.
They're not for everyone.
These are the real ones. The ones.
Yeah, it's not the violent video game.
No.
Though, I mean, with the banning of the violent video games, I find it just ludicrous when it's like Walmart's like, oh, we're taking down all violent game imagery, but look at these guns of racks of guns still here. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, gun control or lack thereof is a complicated and sordid
not really
thing to go
It is
over.
people's emotions revolve around
they
it.
do.
Yeah, but I mean, we
it's an
do have to
emotional
take
thing.
people's emotions into account here. That matters.
Sadly, it does in this case.
It matters.
It does. We're not robots.
Because those assholes have guns, and they will shoot us if they get upset.
I love guns.
You
I
know.
want to be a gun owner.
I don't mind shooting guns, but
I could never pull the trigger on buying a gun because they're just simply expensive. Guns are fucking expensive.
for what they are, they're relatively cheap in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I mean, as far as like money I'm willing to spend on an object, they're pretty fucking expensive.
Who has that joke where if you want to solve the gun violence, you make bullets cost like $1 million a pop?
I think that was Mitch Hedberg.
No, it was.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. It was. Who was it? Was it Chris Rock?
people would just make their own bullets.
Yeah.
They already do that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy
I
thing to
forget who
do.
it was.
You can buy a bullet press.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a great fucking bit.
It's fascinating.
I just
on a
feel
technical
like
level.
I don't know. It just seems weird to take down the violent image, like the guy, like the picture of the video game guy holding
Right,
a
Which
the
gun.
fake
you
thing.
know is like the generic character from Fortnite, right? Holding a toy
Yeah.
gun, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I don't
leave up like, oh hey, here's this big case of AR-15s and shotguns if you're interested.
You know, as a kid, neither one of those made me feel violent. So,
Yeah,
Guns and gun video games.
yeah. Well, I mean, or the imagery of.
Imagery.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like these studies and these people assume that children cannot separate reality from fiction.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time they can. They're not larvae.
I think the
They're
dumbing down of our
little
culture
humans.
can be greatly attributed
Yeah.
to the fact that people think kids are fucking stupid.
Yeah. They don't get me wrong. They do some things.
Sure.
But
But
they're
it's-
still
all of those
tiny
things are learning
people. They still
experiences.
have emotions and feelings,
Yeah.
and they're not like slime, right?
Yeah.
They're not primordial ooze.
No.
They pick up, they're watching, even subconsciously, trying to constantly find where the line is.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I don't know. We all grew up to the violent video game stuff.
I
and
once thought that it'd be really fun to make a horror movie where the villain. This is like the only related bit to this is the kids.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it'd be cool. So the villain would like be this weird trench coaty thing, and he would like point. He'd like go to playgrounds and point. And he'd open up his mouth. And do you ever see that video of the baby laughing? And it's like this really weird sound.
Well, probably.
So he would open his mouth and make that sound. And then all of a sudden, the kids would go fucking nuts and start killing all the adults around, right? And how you would make this movie is you would film the kids having a genuinely fun time playing and stuff. And then you would splice that in
With the
footage of them killing. So
Make
that it
sure
looks
you
they're
get 'em
having
beating
this
a
like
a
gleeful,
pinata.
fun time.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
people will die from fun.
You can just give a kid like a little wooden stake and tell him,
Exactly.
okay, stab the ground, Jimmy.
Right, yeah.
Like draw a smiley face with your stick. And
Isn't there a horror movie that recently came out or is coming out where the kids are murderous?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't follow horror movies. so.
I
Children
couldn't
of the
tell
Corn
you.
was like that.
Yeah.
No, no, there's a horror movie coming out where it's they take the hide and seek premise. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, honey, we got to play hide and seek.
Yes,
but,
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
my family's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
if we find you.
I'm going to watch that.
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
I'll go watch that.
Did you guys see the trailer for the horror movie that is just supposed to be an alligator?
Oh, Crawl.
Yes, that one.
No.
I think it's called.
That looks so fucking stupid.
Crocodiles are terrifying. Y'all like
Sure.
Okay.
what?
Let's back
what was
up.
it? Lake
Giant
Placid.
sharks, giant snakes.
Yeah, but giant sharks are in
Giant
open
spiders.
water. This is just an alligator in somebody's fucking house in
So
Florida.
it's just a shark that can get on
I've
land.
already seen Lake Placid.
Yeah.
That came out a while ago.
That wasn't scary. That was funny.
It was great. Oliver Platt, that dude from This Will Be Our Independence.
I think
Day.
it was-
Bill
Oh,
Gates.
the president?
No, Bill Pullman. Bill Gates.
I think great is a little excessive. It was okay.
You
It
know
was
they're
alright.
making these scary animal movies because they're going to be fun.
God, I was watching a compilation of.
I blame fucking Sharknado.
No, I don't
Did
think
you
you can
guys-
blame Sharknado. on
Did you
anything.
guys see the a picture that popped up on Reddit in one of the D&D subreddits? dude had made a little miniature Sharknado out of like
Yes.
cotton and
With little toy sharks
little
in it.
toy
No, but that's
sharks in
awesome.
it, and he was like,
Yeah.
"I have a surprise for my party tonight."
Yeah, an actual Sharknado.
That's awesome.
I think it's gotta be like CR40.
Man, I was just thinking I was watching a compilation of trailers that are supposed to be coming out in 2019 and 2020, and we have another like bring this back from the fucking Dead movie. I don't remember what it was, but also Jumanji 2 or 3, however you're going to look at it.
Well, 2.5,
2,
1.9.
Yeah,
Hey, the reboot was fun.
I haven't watched
Every movie with Jumanji and the title's been good.
Okay, well, again, that's
Batting
liberal use of
1,000.
good, I think, probably. Funny, sure.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a lot of fun to watch.
Okay. I watched a portion of the new Jumanji.
I feel what I was worried
the
about
reboot.
most, and we're going to talk about Star Wars again for a minute. Yay,
Mhm.
love Star Wars. Was remember Tarkin in the Rogue One, the Rogue One movie,
The CGI Tarkin.
the CGI
Mm-hmm.
Tarkin.
Didn't
I
do
was
that.
scared to death.
that they were
They were
Robin
gonna
Williams.
they were gonna CGI
Oh.
Robin Williams.
Oh.
They did not.
They
There was a
could-
tape.
you can't. That'd be fucked.
They're gonna deep fake him. I felt it in my heart they were gonna deep fake him,
I really
but
hope
they wound
Yeah.
up not doing it. Just a nice little tasteful carving that he was
Okay.
here, like his character's name from the first Jumanji was here. But I mean, everything with The Rock is delightful.
Well, I mean, you guys have seen
He's
the
good.
the new Star Wars Episode 9 trailer, right?
I
Where
don't
she
think so.
jumps over the TIE fighter or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
That's
I
all-
haven't.
that's
I
all
have
I've
not
seen.
seen that.
Oh, okay. Well,
You haven't seen the teaser?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, came out
so Leia's
a
in
couple
it.
months ago.
What?
What?
Yeah, Leia's in the movie.
Didn't she die?
Yeah, no, she
Well,
didn't die.
well, Carrie Fisher died.
Carrie Fisher died.
Well, no, but didn't she? Wasn't? Oh no, she force pulled herself back.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? Carrie Fisher's dead. I feel like I'm behind.
We
the
could devote a whole
conversation here.
episode
Yeah.
to
we really
subverting
could.
expectations. Right. If we
Oh,
want to
that's
talk about
that's
that.
the
boy.
trend.
Yeah. No.
the directorial trend.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Last Jedi is a hot pile of garbage.
Which one was
Yes.
that one? Oh, the Luke
Episode
one,
8.
right? The one with Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's-
sucked. That
It
sucked
had
hard.
some good things.
It had a
in
couple
had
good
a-
parts, right?
Yeah. The
no,
porgs.
That was not
Porgs
cool.
were fantastic.
I
No,
tell
there
you,
were cool moments. There were some scenes that looked cool and were good.
I've never done a
the
bigger
movie
180 in a movie than seeing. Are we past spoilers? What's the statute of limitations?
No, which fuck? Yeah,
Spoilers.
no.
When
Go for it.
the ship goes into hyperdrive and hits the big Star Destroyer thing,
Yeah.
it was like, that is the most visually stunning thing I've seen
So
in a
cool.
long time.
So
and my
cool
mouth
looking.
opened.
So cool.
And
looking.
then-
it was fucking awesome.
And then your
looking.
brain
3
kicked in.
seconds later, I was like, they just ruined Star Wars hyperdrive canon.
Yeah.
Like, they just made it so that any war, any battle ever fought with any starfighter is completely superfluous.
By an unmanned ship.
And it was such a, I was reeling. I was like, I can't believe they just did that.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to remember, Star Wars movies are not for 32-year-old men, right? That's okay. It's owned by Disney. They're making a Disney version.
It's absolutely for 32-year-old men.
It
You
should
shut
be.
your pirate hooker mouth.
But man, that just blew my mind that I know they were talking about, they threw out all the extra canon, the extended universe.
Yeah.
That's one thing. At the end of the day, your books are still there. You can still
Yeah, you can still read them.
play those, read that stuff. But now you can just put
Why would you ever
hyperdrive
build-
on any asteroid and
Why
just
would you build a
launch
Death
it.
Star?
You don't need it.
No,
Launch an asteroid with a hyperdrive on it and
Yeah.
anything.
That
And
means they built 3 Death Stars that were never needed to happen because this was always there. This
Yeah.
was always a possibility.
you could just launch. Yeah, all the things with I don't know if the
Well,
mass shadow stuff was
like
extended
how
universe.
economically wasteful.
Well,
is
Luke-
that?
Yeah.
Trillions of credits wasted
and
on
lives. And
Luke-
lives. You don't
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
droid and a rock.
Yeah.
Luke needed a moment where he knew he could trust Obi-Wan in his training, so that's why they built the Death Star.
Luke.
Well, and-
well, roll back. I'm confused.
They needed a moment where Luke's training was all confirmed. That's why they built the Death Star, so that he could have his trench run.
But he could have trench run like.
I'm being sarcastic.
Okay, I was really confused. Yeah,
yeah, and it was a
that's
gross
a
moment.
cart before the horse situation, right?
It was a gross moment.
I don't know. It's just
There were some cool scenes in it, though. A lot of, I mean,
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
sweet ass lightsaber fighting.
say what you'll say about how stupid force projection is, but that scene looked cool.
And it was
that's,
very.
That's minor to me. The
Yeah,
whole
me too.
Leia and space moving thing. Like it's they got magic. That's
No,
okay.
the only thing
Oh.
that bothers me is like the actress is dead.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a real convenient out.
I know. I was.
It was a
surprised that
super
they
convenient
They didn't
out.
take that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, write it in. That way you don't have to.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Have her bring herself back into the ship to show she's a badass, but then have her die. She
Yeah,
was in space.
Absolutely.
Maybe she doesn't make
Space complications.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Serious business.
Yeah. I mean, you got that little asteroid line.
That was on your death certificate.
Space complications. Your insurance doesn't cover solar flares.
What's the payout on that?
having the coolest death of all time.
Yeah.
That's a good
Sold.
payout.
Yeah.
I feel bad
Hey,
for various reasons.
let's talk about it real quick since we're talking about it. Death,
Okay.
right? What do you want to happen, Andrew? What do you want to happen to your remains when you die?
I already know. I decided this
Oh.
one.
Me too.
Child.
I want to be fired into space.
That'd be cool. I've never really thought about it too much. Like, I don't like thinking about myself dying.
Oh,
too
see,
much.
I don't mind thinking about my own mortality.
Oh.
Please.
Well, I mean, it's an inevitable
Sure.
fate that we all
So, like,
share.
I'm an organ donor, so they're going to carve me up and get those.
Ooh. Okay, go on.
So that's going to happen. And then,
Are you an organ donor?
I am, but I have
From
something.
there?
I have something to talk about after this.
I don't know, like, really, if I have my choice? Really?
Yeah.
I'd want people to eat me or something.
Prions.
Gain your
No,
knowledge.
thank you.
That'd be kind of cool.
For the longest time, I wanted to just be cremated and put my ashes in fireworks. And
If I put it in
Have
my will
fireworks
that
at
you
my
guys had
funeral.
to eat me with.
Go
But-
out with a bang.
No.
then I realized, and by realized, I found out that with a very simple permit that can be done in a day, you find someone with a boat, anyone can be buried with a sea burial.
Mhm.
You just have to go, like, I think 3 miles offshore.
Yeah.
Just
And
rolled
you-
into the ocean.
and just roll in the ocean.
Hmm.
You don't have to get filled with formaldehyde and all that stuff. They
And then
just
sharks can
chuck
eat
you in the water.
Of life.
Sharks and crabs and eels and all the worms. And
That's cool. You go right back to the source.
yeah, I thought that was the coolest thing.
See, I don't give a shit what happens to me when I die.
I guess that's the end.
Fuck
Yeah,
my corpse.
At the end of the day,
stuff
funerals
me.
and whatnot. That's
Uh,
for
I've always
Put me in the
thought
ground.
being stuffed would be fun, like
Sure.
because you could be left in a fun position.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, can Josh get your coat?
Dude,
You'd be a hat rack.
sell me to a third world country. I don't give a shit.
Like, put me on wheels so you can move me around in a scary, like in a haunted house, and all of a sudden there's Grandpa. You know, like
Have a little voice box inside you.
That's
some Josh
fun.
taglines.
Oh
I want
my
to change
God.
my answer. I want to be stuffed in a fun position.
I wish
So
that
I
was
think that-
legal.
That'd be yeah, right.
That'd be so cool.
That'd
It's
be great.
not?
No,
I doubt it.
it's not.
You can
I'd
stuff
put-
animals.
Yeah,
Well,
can't stuff
you
human
can do a
beings.
lot of things to
Where's-
animals
where's
you
it-
can't do to humans, Andrew.
I'm almost so I
We're
don't
just-
know for certain, but I'm almost positive I've heard the conclusion of can you be stuffed when you're dead?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like 99% certain you cannot.
Yeah,
It has nothing to do with logistics, though, right?
No, it's not hard to
I'm just
making
taxidermy
sure.
a human
making sure.
pragmatically.
No,
'Cause
yeah,
you can taxidermy
well,
a deer, no problem. It's not
I
that
mean,
much different, right?
there are a lot of.
I've
bad
only really heard of
taxidermists.
smaller animals being taxidermied, so
You
I
should
didn't know
watch
that
them
they could do
taxidermy
that.
competitions, man.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh man,
yeah, it's a
they
thing.
look. We'll look that up after.
So
Speaking of which,
before we go too far, hold on.
yeah,
So going back to being an organ donor, that reminds me of.
I am not an organ donor.
Shame on you. That reminds me of donating your body to science.
Yeah.
Did you have you guys heard about this?
what define-
What law enforcement found to these collegiate level scientists? What they've been doing with corpses?
What?
They've got so many that they've been doing stuff like chopping off a bunch of heads and then sewing them together and
Okay,
like
citation needed. Where Who-
buckets of
what?
legs. All right, hold
We
on. I'll
gotta see
I'll
this
find
shit.
it. I'll find it.
Sound like
I
a
will-
Facebook post.
I will absolutely find it.
My mother gave me these eyes. I'm going to keep them. Thank you.
Your mother just colored them. Bet you it was your dad.
The first result is bodies donated to science found.
Found in a bucket.
Oh, I think I remember seeing.
I mean, there's a lot of legitimate reasons.
it was
so.
donated to the military to test the effects of bombs on them.
I remember reading that. That was one body.
Oh,
Wait,
They
this
had
is a
a-
weird
Yeah,
headline.
and
Whoa,
then-
whoa. Go back to that headline. How did that read? Dismembered limbs sewn together like Frankenstein at Body Parts Donation Center. FBI found. This is on what? NBC News? CBS News?
NBC.
Shit.
It's NBC.
Yeah, I'm not fucking around. This is like, I mean, this
Hold
happened.
on.
They raided a defunct Arizona body donation company.
Authorities instead found that the bodies in the center were mishandled, abused, desecrated, and sold for Who do you sell to that for profit?
Well, so there's some legitimate uses.
Somebody
like
who
selling
wants
them,
a Frankenstein in their home?
Well, they're selling them to the U.S. government to work as cadavers for actually figuring out ballistics and stuff like that. So yes, I mean,
Okay.
some of them are being sold semi-legit. That is science being done.
And when you say sold, can I sell my body to science for a profit now?
No, you don't sell your body to science. You give your body to science.
Well, fuck that.
Something important to note.
Male
it looks
tor-
like the proof of this is one guy saying, I observed X, I observed Y, I observed Z.
This is this is a member of the what is it FBI?
I don't trust.
Yeah, when the FBI raided a
Yeah.
now defunct Arizona.
They're
body.
interviewing FBI members.
Yeah. Well,
I've
I've lost faith in our
because
government.
go up. Mark
so-
Kleinar, a former Phoenix FBI assistant special agent, recently testified for the civil suit. So this is on record.
There's
Yeah.
FBI agents saying they've seen
Yeah, but this is in
UFOs.
court.
Sure, but this
Okay.
this is in court where they have multiple. I mean, like.
You got to put some.
This is
weight to it.
yeah. You have to put some fucking stock in this because these. I mean,
I'm saying it's more legitimate than a Facebook post, but unless they found these
Well, and this is
Frankenstein bodies.
they did. There's a civil suit being filed. It looks like by 30 family members. It says.
Okay.
Damn. Stephen Gores, the owner of the Biological Resource Center, pleaded guilty in 2015 to illegally conducting an enterprise
What does that even mean?
that he wasn't qualified to
He
be.
was attempting to
doing
make his
shit.
own Star Trek crew called the Enterprise, and he was stitching bodies together.
the very bottom. I mean, it again doesn't give you much more proof, but authorities, probably multiple, said he and other defendants had been mistreating and illegally selling donated bodies since at least 2007.
So it sounds like this. No, I mean this doesn't downplay anything, but this was one business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Sure.
isn't some mass conspiracy.
But we are
But
talking about a
Franken corpses.
large segment of the population that donates their bodies to science when they die.
Yeah. I really need to pee, so I'm gonna go do that.
All right.
All right.
I actually think it's about time to wrap this up. So hold your pee.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Because I feel like I interrupted
Preepy.
to go on to this really morbid subject.
Nick's a little preepy.
Oh.
Don't
No,
cry. Don't cry.
I think I'm good.
I think, we can wrap it up with Frankenstein bodies, Josh keeping all of his pieces when he dies, Nick having
I'm gonna
to
take your fingers.
Nick being all preepy over there. That's a preepy, not a pre-weepy. And, yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. I think we're good, guys. All right. And again, thanks, guys, for listening in.
See you
We'll
next
see
week.
you next week.
Educate your mind. Don't let the brain cells die. Come on, it's balcony time.